Do you ever feel like your mind just won't stop? You replay conversations. You analyze tone. You question your decisions. You imagine worst-case scenarios before anything even happens. And no matter how much you tell yourself to relax, your brain refuses. Overthinking is exhausting. It steals your sleep. It drains your energy. It makes simple decisions feel overwhelming. But here's something most people don't realize. Overthinking is not a personality flaw. It's not because you're too sensitive. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you lack confidence. For many people, it started in childhood. And once you understand why your brain learned to overthink, you stop fighting yourself and start understanding yourself. Today, we're going deep into the psychology of overthinking and how it may have been shaped long before you even knew what anxiety was. Part 1. Overthinking is a survival strategy. Let's change how you see overthinking. Overthinking is not random. It's a survival response. When you were a child, your brain had one main job: stay safe, stay connected, stay accepted. If your environment felt unpredictable, emotionally unstable, or critical, your brain adapted. And one of the most powerful adaptations is hyperanalysis. A child who grows up in uncertainty starts scanning for danger, not physical danger, emotional danger. Will I get in trouble? Did I say something wrong? Is mom upset? Is dad angry? Did I disappoint someone? When love, approval, or safety felt conditional, your brain learned: think ahead, predict, analyze, prevent mistakes. Overthinking became protection, and the brain that once helped you survive childhood never learned to turn that system off. Part 2. Growing up around criticism. If you grew up in a home where you were constantly corrected, criticized, or compared, your brain became cautious. Maybe you heard, "Why can't you be more like your sibling? That's not good enough. You always mess things up. Stop being dramatic." Over time, something shifts inside a child. You stop expressing freely. You start monitoring yourself. You rehearse sentences in your head before speaking. You imagine how others will react before acting, because making mistakes didn't feel safe. So your brain thought, if I analyze everything carefully, I won't get criticized. And that habit followed you into adulthood. Now you overthink texts. You overthink decisions. You overthink how you came across in meetings. You overthink whether someone is mad at you. Not because you're insecure, because your nervous system learned that mistakes lead to rejection. Part 3. Emotional unpredictability. Overthinking also develops in emotionally unpredictable homes. Maybe your parents' mood changed quickly. Maybe one day they were warm. The next day they were distant. Maybe you never knew what version of them you would get. In that kind of environment, children become highly observant. They scan facial expressions. They analyze tone shifts. They become emotional detectives. Why? Because predicting moods meant avoiding conflict. That hyper-awareness becomes automatic. As an adult, you might notice tiny changes in someone's voice. Assume something is wrong even when it isn't. Read deeply into short responses. Feel anxious when someone's energy shifts slightly. Your brain is still scanning for emotional storms, even when there isn't one. Part 4. When you had to be the good one. Some children cope by becoming perfect. They don't cause problems. They don't argue. They don't express strong emotions. They become responsible early. They help. They achieve. They stay quiet. Because somewhere along the way they learned love is earned. So they overthink everything to maintain approval. Did I do enough? Was that helpful? Did I upset anyone? Did I disappoint someone? Overthinking becomes performance management. But the problem is, approval never feels secure, so the thinking never stops. Part 5. When your feelings were dismissed. If your emotions were ignored or minimized, you may have learned to distrust your own reactions. Maybe you were told, "You're too sensitive. You're overreacting. It's not that serious. You're fine." So you began questioning yourself. Am I too much? Am I wrong for feeling this way? Is my reaction valid? This creates internal doubt, and doubt fuels overthinking. Instead of trusting your emotions, you analyze them. Instead of trusting your instincts, you debate them. Instead of trusting your memory of events, you replay them repeatedly, because no one validated your internal world. So now you try to validate it intellectually. Part 6. The fear of rejection. At the core of overthinking is one powerful fear: rejection. As children, connection equals survival. If connection felt unstable, your brain became cautious. So now as an adult, overthinking shows up as replaying conversations to make sure you didn't say something wrong, worrying someone is mad at you without proof, assuming distance means abandonment. preparing for worst-case outcomes. Your brain is trying to prevent loss, but it doesn't realize you're not a powerless child anymore. Part 7. Why your brain won't turn off at night. Nighttime overthinking is common for people who grew up in high-alert environments. During the day, distractions exist. At night, silence removes distractions, and your nervous system finally speaks. Unprocessed emotions rise, old memories resurface, future worries appear. Your brain says, let's solve everything now. But it's not solving, it's scanning, because scanning once kept you safe. Part 8. Overthinking and control. When life feels unpredictable in childhood, control becomes comfort, and thinking creates the illusion of control. If I think long enough, if I analyze deeply enough, then nothing will surprise me. Part 9. The hidden anxiety beneath it. Overthinking is often socially acceptable anxiety. It looks productive, it looks thoughtful, it looks intelligent, but underneath is tension, muscle tightness, restlessness, trouble relaxing. Part 13. How it affects relationships. Overthinking creates relationship anxiety. You may analyze text response times, assume distance means loss of interest, fear expressing needs, replay arguments repeatedly. Mental tension can create the very distance you fear. Part 10. Decision paralysis. Children who were criticized heavily fear making wrong choices. As adults, this becomes decision paralysis. You research excessively, you compare endlessly, not because you can't decide, because you fear consequences. Part 15. How to start healing. Healing overthinking means teaching your brain safety. Step 1. Notice the scanning. Step 2. Pause and regulate your body. Slow breathing, grounding techniques, because overthinking is a nervous system response. Step 4. Reassure the younger part of you. Literally tell yourself, I am safe. I can handle discomfort. Not everything needs to be predicted. Step 3. Practice trusting small decisions. Build evidence that mistakes are survivable. Part 16. Learning to sit with uncertainty. Uncertainty feels dangerous, but growth requires tolerating uncertainty. You don't need every answer today. You don't need full control. Sometimes peace begins where prediction ends. Part 18. You are not broken. If you overthink, it means you adapted. Your brain once worked overtime to keep you safe, but survival mode isn't meant to last forever. You deserve calm. You deserve trust. The mind can learn to rest. A final reflection. Imagine a younger version of you trying to prevent rejection. You are not that child anymore. You are stronger. You are safer. And slowly, the mind that once overthought to survive can learn to rest. Now you can learn to rest. Take a deep breath. Let the weight of these insights settle. You have spent so long scanning for danger, performing for approval, and trying to predict the unpredictable. But you are here. You have survived. And now, you are safe. The skills that kept you safe then are not needed in this moment. You can let the detective rest. Healing is a slow, gentle path. It is about returning to yourself, one breath at a time. It is about learning to trust your own heart again. You deserve a mind that is quiet. You deserve a heart that is at peace. You deserve to live without the constant noise of what if. Thank you for taking this journey with me today. Remember, you are not broken. You adapted. And now you can learn to rest. Thank you for watching. Healing is not about erasing the past, but about changing your relationship with it. It is about honoring the child who did everything they could to survive. As you move forward, remember that your sensitivity is a gift, not a burden. It is the part of you that notices the beauty in the world once it no longer has to scan for danger. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to be imperfect. You are allowed to simply be, without the pressure of performance or approval. Find the places and people where you can let your guard down. Surround yourself with safety until your nervous system learns that it is okay to rest. You have the strength within you to create a life of peace. Step by step, breath by breath, you are coming home to yourself. Thank you for being here. Let your awareness be like a small flame in the quiet. It doesn't need to shout to be seen. It just needs to exist, providing a soft light for your journey. Hold your heart with the same tenderness you would give to that small child who learned to overthink to survive. You are worthy of your own compassion. Every morning is a chance to start again, not by forcing the mind to be silent, but by inviting it into the sunlight of the present moment. Life is a series of waves. Some are emotional storms, others are calm tides. You are learning to walk along the shore without fear of the water. In the vastness of your own mind, There is room for both the thinking and the resting. You are more than your thoughts. You are the space in which they occur. From this height, you can see the patterns clearly. The overthinking was a map, but you are the traveler. You decide which path to take now. A single act of kindness toward yourself creates ripples that touch every part of your nervous system. Healing begins with one small drop of trust. This knowledge is now part of you. You understand the why, and that understanding is the first step toward true rest. You are safe. You are strong. You are home.